I don't know. Look, there's been a lot of talk. I keep hearing secondhand that there's a lot of talk about, like, we're getting like a lot of nascent, we should bomb North Korea talk. Now, some of it is not so difficult to find. Like, you could turn on a Sunday morning talk show and see Lindsey Graham say, we're all going to die, God bless you, unless we bomb North Korea and somehow stop their capacity to develop nuclear weapons. Who knows where that leads? But I think when the administration's mouthpiece to local television, and not just, one place, but to a network of local television stations that has 70% some odd clearance in the country, more than any by far, by a magnitude of 2 or 3, more maybe. The Sinclair Broadcasting, Boris Epshteyn, we haven't heard from him much, but that's the whole point with this, is that I don't know what's playing local news in the third biggest media market in Ohio, but it's probably this guy.
The supreme leader of North Korea used his New Year's message to brag about his country's supposed nuclear capability. Kim Jong Un referenced a nuclear button that is on his desk and ready for use. American policy over the last 20 plus years.
I like how he sort of chuckles, like, can you believe a president, a big button on his desk?
An erratic leader has randomly doing more dangerous, absurd threats about his weapons supplies.
Unbelievable.
Only a totally irresponsible moron who has no business running anything would do something like that.
This man claims he's like a genius, or he's stable.
This is ridiculous and belied by fact.
American policy over the last 20 plus years would have called for the USA to not respond at all, or to do so in a measured way. Where has that gotten us? North Korea has grown more and more belligerent while continuing to test ballistic missiles and develop its nuclear program. President Trump was clear during the campaign that if the American people want for our country to start standing up to international bullies and bad actors, he's the man for the job. That is exactly what Donald Trump did in tweeting a response ridiculing Kim Jong Un's boasting. It is vital to remember that Kim Jong Un and the North Korean Communist Party used their supposed military might as a carrot to convince their starving and impoverished people to stay loyal. In other words...
Pause it. Wait a second.
Stick.
Did this guy not have a freaking editor? Roll it back.
Everybody.
When you use your nuclear capacity, it's not a carrot because you don't eat it.
When you terrorize your population with military, this is the classic carrot strategy.
This is, wow.
Donald Trump did in tweeting a response ridiculing Kim Jong Un's boasting. It is vital to remember that Kim Jong Un and the North Korean Communist Party used their supposed military might as a carrot to convince their starving and impoverished people to stay loyal. In other words, you may be sick and hungry, but our country is great and could threaten America. By backing down to those threats, America has played right into the hands of Kim Jong Un and before him, his father, Kim Jong Il. That is not happening under the Trump administration. Here's the bottom line. Our leaders and foreign policy experts have coddled North Korea for decades with disastrous results. President Trump is not backing down to threats from North Korea, Iran, ISIS, or other forces that hate America. Strength is the policy that will be effective with these rogue actors.
Well, make sure you stare into camera for next to 3 seconds.
They will have in the role actors and they have a carroting strategy.
Can you believe this guy with the tweets on the button?
Only a complete and total moron, completely unequipped for the burdens of leadership and international responsibilities would do this.
How crazy do you have to be?
And I like that there is actually a tinge of self-recognition there, because while they're showing Trump's insane tweet, he's saying like a sharply worded response on Twitter, which I guess you can conjure to being like, Trump being like, that's just super irresponsible. Meanwhile, like North and South are starting to negotiate now.
Yes.
And what's so interesting is that just the two little buttons on it.
Can
One
we
is
bomb
that
both?
Actually, Bill Clinton. There actually was a deal that was working until the Bush administration destroyed it. So they haven't been coddled for 20 years.
Well, to be fair,
yeah.
I mean, if you're going to have an axis of evil, you got to have three.
I just think it's
right. Because if you only have two, then you just look like a loser.
Well, or if maybe it was also
it's a plank of evil.
It was PC culture. They had to have an Asian one to balance out the Middle East stuff.
It's a three stool. That's the way we do it. A three-legged stool.
Axis.
You don't have a two-legged stool.
And it's funny because like the South Korean government
Trump,
right now is so right. Please don't tweet David Trump. Is so wary of Trump that like North Korea's goal is to try to get us to essentially break the mutual defense treaty between South Korea and the United States. That's like a tangible goal that they have. And supposedly South Korea is thinking of adopting like a pivot policy where they go in between they're like on certain issues we go China and Russia, on other issues we go US and Japan. So the actual result of this, if short of God forbid the horrific like what Lindsey Graham seems to want, just this complete massive crime against humanity, will actually be like South Korea just pivoting away from us because we're so unstable.
Right. It's an amazing choice that they could make, that like, oh, our mutual defense pact with the United States is actually making us less safe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The South thought they could determine outcomes in Northeast Asia by switching sides depending on the issue between a northern alliance of China, Russia, and North Korea and a southern alliance of US and Japan.
Also, when he was like, they're starving, but their military is strong, so they support it. I was like, we ever heard that one before?
Yes. Well, I mean, I think we should have had a parade like that too.
Our cops murder you.
Nobody wanted to because of the roads. That's the problem. That's why we need an infrastructure bill. We need to build up the roads for inauguration. We're just going to have a post-inauguration parade.
All right, so North Korea inauguration, tanks in the road. Everybody got it? It's executive time.
Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos